We are live. So, woo!
Woo!
Hey, I'm so excited that you're joining us today. Woo-hoo.
So excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So, thank you for coming today, Meredith. It's so exciting to be chatting with you today. So I think I've known you now for, I don't know, golly, 3.5, maybe 4, nearly, must be getting close to 4 years, I would imagine. So it's been a while. So
best 4 years of my life.
oh, thank you, sweet. So yeah, and you know, like I've seen, you're just amazing, like for what you do. So I'm so looking forward to chatting with you and talking about and sharing how you can build businesses, because you've been a business coach, a relationship coach. You've been doing all these wonderful things. You have this amazing membership site now that you're using, Love Then Lead. So where you actually share all of your beautiful knowledge with so many people. So it's just wonderful that you're making such a difference in the world. So
well, and I think the beautiful thing is that we get to make this beautiful difference together, right? It's not just about me, it's about how we do it as a we, in collaboration as leaders. And so for everybody who doesn't know, Angi is one of my masterclass experts. She's coming up later this summer inside our membership, and that's really exciting that we get to do all of these things together to help each other make that difference in the world.
Yeah, so it's exciting. So I'm looking forward to it. So yes, so let's chat for what would you like to share with us today? Because I know that you have so much knowledge, and we're talking about how people can really hone in on their own unique gifts, because everybody is unique. Hey, everyone has special gifts. And when we're in business, we need to be following our genius and following our gifts to make the business flourish for us.
Right. And part of it is really about, right, there's so many different ways that you can design your business. There's so many different things that you can do. There are techniques out there. But the thing that I find is the most important is that your business should be a support for you at your highest loved, most expressive self, right? Letting your true color shine, letting that genius and all those gifts that you're talking about really be free. And the more that we design our businesses with that in mind, that they're supporting us, the more we thrive. It really is the energy behind who we are. And so I think my favorite thing to talk about is our essences. And I believe that everybody has 7 essences in letting your true color shine, right? True color shining through. I sing a lot. Warning, if you don't like a singer, you're not going to like me so much because I do that. It's part of my true colors and how I let my quirkiness shine. So everybody has 7 essences. And the reason I say that they're essences is they are ways of being or personality and characteristics of who you are. And the flavor can change over time, but the core essence of what it is always there, right? So if you think back to a time in your childhood and people said, oh, you're quite precocious, you're really curious. Or they used to tell me I had the gift of gab, right? So I'm definitely somebody who talks a lot.
Hey.
Ready as I
am. I never have guessed. I'm the same, by the way.
Right?
I'm the same.
And so understanding that we all have 7 essences. And as I started really kind of creating and designing these essences, I'm starting to understand that I think they connect in other areas and belief systems. Like I think there's a relationship to your chakras. I'm not an expert in chakras, but I do believe, like I have my 7 essences in kind of a rainbow color, and you could think about them, how do they relate? So one of my essences is comical and witty, and it could very much be an intelligence, kind of a heady type of insight. I'm also an intuitive, so maybe that's related to this upper chakra, right? I'm very genuine and heartfelt, like very caring, and maybe that's related to my heart chakra. But so your essences can be anything, but it's those ways of being. I would love everybody to know at least 7 ways of being that have you feel the most, I'm me, right? There are those ways of being. So I'm quirky, right? And some of the ways my quirkiness shows up is I start singing in the middle of a conversation, right? I am a high energy person. right? So there's definitely energetic, charismatic, right? There's a flavor of it, right? It could look in the negative. Somebody might say, hey, you're a little hyperactive. Anybody out there have hyperactive children, or is it just me? Right? But so
Oh, yeah.
even those negative descriptions could always have, every aspect of who we are has the one side of the hand and the other side of the hand.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So when you have these 7 essences clearly defined for yourself, then you can understand how your business supports it. If you're a creative person, how are the things that you're doing in your business supporting that creative energy, having that creative energy thrive? If you're somebody who's an intuitive, for example, and you believe in guides, God, the universe, whatever it is that talks to you, how are you letting that spiritual guide help you create your business?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right?
I think one of mine, actually, just to saying, is enthusiasm and passion. Like, they're 2 of mine. Like, I get really enthusiastic and I'm very passionate.
Well, and that makes sense for somebody who's a passion test trainer.
Exactly.
Right? Like, that is a perfect structure for who you are. And it so aligns with and supports your ways of being. And so there's this, so for every essence that you have, for every one of those 7 ways of being, there should be things in your life and your business that support that.
Yeah.
And so some of those support structures, right, for a high energy person like me, I need to be well rested, right? I have to say thank you to Corona, because I'm sleeping in a lot more than I used to.
No.
Right?
Well,
and so, yeah, so those are some of the really good ways to understand designing your business from who you are. And then I have a helix of self-knowledge, and it has like a 6 steps to it. And the first part is knowing. So you want to know your 7 essences, right? You want to know the things that are not, right? The no's of who you are, right? So for example, I am ADHD-ish and I'm a little dyslexic, right? So I'm a really good speaker. I have pretty decent grammar and I communicate well, heart to heart, emotionally. But when it comes to writing it, I get stopped, right? So I know that in my business, writing is not one of those super skills. It's not one of those super sets in how to help me connect with people, right? So I speak my emails into Google, and that's how they get written. I hear you in the background. Is there stuff going on back there?
Yep, what I just did was I went to the page and someone said morning, and I was just going to reply to our Facebook Live, and it clicked on it, and see, so even the technology people can muck up too. So there you go. That's what happens.
We want to interact. We want to engage. We want to see it's playing live in the background. Hey, it happens.
So I will just get us back up onto my Facebook here. So I would actually like to take a moment and say hello to the people who are watching us, because there's currently 7 people live with us. So
one for each of our essences.
So say hi. So Sue Ann, hello. Yeah.
Hi, Sue Ann.
So yeah, so that's really cool. So anyway.
Hi to all of you 7 glorious people in your wonderfulness. I would love it if you want to chat in the comments. What are some of those essences that have your true color shine? Are you quirky? Are you creative? I'm going to share some of mine because it's really easy. I'm authentic. I'm energetic. I'm witty and comical or silly. I honestly think silly is one of my superpowers. So please share in the comments some of those superpowers of yours, those essences that let your rainbow of true color shine.
Yeah. Hi, Kerry. So Kerry has just said hello. And
hey, Kerry.
I'm Chris. Hey, Chris. So Chris has said hello as well. So that's cool. And everyone can get a handout or something, can't they, with their essences? You'll give them something so they can.
I am going to give you an entire, so we did a challenge with all of this information. And not only is it a handout, there's 4 pages of handouts of things to help you uncover what your 7 essences are. because it really is a great foundational place to start. And so we'll give you guys a link to that later, and you can watch the videos and download the worksheets and really unpack this in a much more in-depth way.
Yeah, wow. Let me just say quickly hello again to Yurik and Carol and Andrew. So I'm so happy that you're here joining us. So yeah.
Hello, everybody.
I know, it's great. So okay, so the first essence is knowing, is to know.
The first part of right, the first thing about mastering yourself is knowing.
Yes.
Right? And so knowing your essences, knowing your strengths, and you talked about this at the beginning, knowing your gifts and talents, right? What are those? Knowing your values and your belief systems. All of these things really help us get clear on how we design our business based on us. Because everybody's, just like all of our offers are unique, how we're going to structure our business, when it's built on who we are, it's when we thrive, right? So next after the knowing is connecting. And so when we start connecting, you can start using stories that share about your values, stories that share about your belief systems, myth busting, right? One of my favorite things is that selling is a form of love. And so I tell some stories about how it's where I take a stand and I stand for them in their best self. And oddly enough, I sometimes feel like I'm maybe like a prostitute selling my love. Okay, so it's not really, but it just feels like it. But when you work with me, when you join my membership, one of the things that I promise is that I love you and I hold you in my heart and that I hold your outcomes, right? So that's how I think selling is a form of love. So I can share that belief. I can share that in emails and videos in ways that I connect, right? And then how am I going to express myself? So that's the next tier. So we have knowing, connecting, expressing. Well, as we said, I'm dyslexic, so writing is not my highest form. So if I'm going to reach out to people once a week to have that connection and to build that relationship inside my business, for me, the best way to do it is video.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Or
I'm
conversation.
exactly the same. To write a blog, I find that really tricky, you know, whereas Andrew has just said, you know, in here that writing is one of his superpowers. And I've seen some of his work and he's amazing, you know, but it's not my, like, I'm much better at face-to-face. So
right. Right. And so there's so many different forms of how we communicate. And so I like to geek into both our learning styles and our expression styles, especially because as an ADHD dyslexic, right? I am not a visual. I'm not a visual processor. So looking at maps or seeing printing, all of this stuff's really hard for me. I have 3 people on my team that speak visuals because I can't. Like I can come out. So when my Helix came to pass, like as it was created, I literally so I listened to my guides. I asked them all for help because I was having problems expressing it. And so I just, as it all came to me, I drew a squiggle and handed it to my husband who speaks visuals. And I said, honey, can you make me this? Because I need this. And then my Helix was born, right? So I can't do that visual. So when you look at who you are naturally, those gifts and talents, how do you express yourself and connect with your audience? If you're a visual, then maybe doing graphic design or website or anything like that, like speaking in memes, speaking in images, that is a great way to get yourself out there. Or if you're an auditory, it might be recording a podcast or, right, I do a lot of my training just listening because I don't need the visuals, right? So,
yeah.
So that's when we express, right? How we express ourselves. I would love for you to find one that you want to do all the time, because when you're creating that relationship build with your audience, having a form of expression that you love is so important.
Yeah. So Andrew has just said, like most dyslexics, you are doubtless creative.
Yes. I mean, I think it is definitely a part of who we are. And I don't remember if this is one of the super skills of a dyslexic or the super skill of a ADHD person, but we're I think it might be ADHD, multidimensional thinkers. So we also think very different. I am not a linear thinker at all. I call it half moon thinking, because I go over here and then I bounce back to over here, and then I go and then I bounce back over here, or maybe I come down from a different perspective. But it is a creative way of looking at things. And if I'm not utilizing that skill in my business, I get to use it as a coach. I get to help my clients. I get to use that type of thinking and that creativity to help with ideation. Right? That's another one of my super skills. And they get to take those ideas and run with them.
Woohoo! Yay!
But it really is about finding the ways that we communicate easily and effectively, and having that be a main part of our business. If that's not part of your nurture sequence, your connection and relationship building part of your business strategy, I think you should look at it, because it's a great way, right? What's the one that you like most? Another way to also look at it is what's the one that you consume the most, right? If you're a naturalist, right? So some of the different people are, so we've talked about visual, I think we've talked about auditory, right? There's musical people. I tend to sing to help my teachings, right? We're talking about express yourself, hey, 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 hey. And I love the 80s and I love Madonna. So there's the musical people. Then there are the naturalists, the people who really want to be outside. Those are the people who are changing the world by gardening and permaculture and all of those things. How do you help that be an influence in what you're creating in your business as well? So understanding their kinesthetics, like yogis, right? Oh, I don't know. Anybody missing a hug? One of my clients is an occupational therapist, and she gives the best hugs. We go like this. We stick our arms out. Come on, Angie, stick your arms out. Let's have a big hug for everybody. Everybody on Facebook, here's a big hug. For those of you that are kinesthetic learners and kinesthetic processors, this can be a really helpful way to have that information sink into who you are. And so understanding, is your business supporting you in your highest forms of expression?
Yeah. So
that's kind of the next.
Yeah. Kerry's just saying that she thinks creativity and dyslexia go together. Her daughter's 20 and is like that. I must admit, my daughter is dyslexic as well. And she's definitely very creative. She's 25, but she's,
yeah, you may or may not have guessed that I have a past. Before I was a coach, I was in the film business. I live in La La Land in Burbank, where most of the film studios are. And I've always been very expressive and singing and dancing. It's a lot of who I am. And it's just about, how do I take that super skill, right? I made a music video to invite people into my Facebook group, right? I rewrote a song. And that's just that's me expressing my highest healed love self.
Yeah. So it's important people know, like they know who they are. So they know what their gifts are, their talents and all of that. And the next part then is connecting. So using stories, creating stories using their gifts.
Yes, absolutely. And creating content with the gifts in the form that they want to express it the most. Now, it's good to have a variety in your content, right? If you start, so as I was saying, I don't write emails really well, but what I do well is that I will turn on my Google document and I will use the auditory tool. There's a little microphone. I click the microphone and then I'll speak my emails so that I can get them out. And then because I speak in run-on sentences, I love run-on sentences. My husband is the king of editing my run-on sentences. He's like, one of these days you're going to learn to use a period. I'm like, or 17 exclamation points, because I like exclamation points. Right? Because they show the excitement. How else do you show the excitement except for like, woohoo! Right? So it's having that, right? Like having that way. How do I express myself on paper? I can't. I even had to start using the little emojis for the songs so that at least my people start knowing when I'm singing on paper, because it's very weird to sing on paper, right? And then so we know who we are, we connect with who we are, we tell stories about who we are, we express ourselves in the ways that are best for who we are as individuals. And then And then we go back to these ways of being. Every action that you create comes from who you're being first, right? And so that's how we are inspiring. We are inspiring by being an authentic be of us, right? I know that's not really good English, but it doesn't have to be, right?
It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be. It gets the point across, because when we are being our 7 essences, then we're being inspiring. And then once you're in that place of beingness, right, whether it's being creative or having an intuitive moment, right, being intuitive, right, when you're doing that and then you take the action, that's when your actions have power.
Yeah.
That's where you create them from. You create them from supporting the ways of being, right? So for example, if you're creating your nurture sequence and your nurture sequence is about being creative, you have to get creative and go, how could I make my nurture sequence creative? Maybe they're going to get pictures and clues every week. Then they're going to be really glued to see. And then maybe they put it together as an art and craft, or I'm just coming up with stuff off the top of my head, right? But depending on who you're being in that moment, that's where the actions come from. And then only then can you create the actions. And then what are you measuring? Are you measuring how people are connecting to their creativity? Right? Then you can measure, oh, I got 5 replies to this email because they loved this poem that I sent, or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? So you want to measure the outcomes, measure those ways of being that you're creating the actions from. And that's where you have the most power inside of your business, right? It's about having that being. So I know if I'm going to have a sales conversation, I need to be loving, I need to be a stand, and I need to be that their vision is more important than them being comfortable in the conversation, but that I do it from a loving place.
Yes, that's it. And people can tell, you know, if you're coming from a loving place, people can feel that, you know, it's, you know, energy. We're all energy. So when we put out the energy that we want, like people to feel.
Right. And that's the energy that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right. I would love it if you were any of your 7 essences or all of them all the time. Right? Because that's when we're moving in an upward cycle of growth. And I think anybody who's listening to us is listening to us because they're somebody who's interested in growth and growing their business and growing themselves in any type of thing. And then what happens is inside of my double helix, we also have what happens when we get stopped, right? If you don't know something, you might not be communicating. If you're disconnected, right? Then you're definitely not connecting. If you're hiding, if you're silent, if you're feeling doubt, right? The gremlins come and bite you across the face and you're like, oh, I got a really bad gremlin on my face. How do I get rid of him? Right? You have to go back to your ways of being and go, I can find a creative way to get rid of this gremlin. Hey, gremlin, you're going to be in a stuffed animal and I'm going to stick you over here and tell you not to talk to me anymore. Or I'm going to plant you.
Yeah, I love that. I love that analogy actually. And that's something I learned through you and the program and everything. But, you know, having our gremlins and having them as a stuffed animal, or having a name, calling our gremlin a name and just saying, hey, whatever, you know, go and hop in the corner. I'm not interested in you right now, you know, like,
right.
Just go, like, you know.
Right. When she rears her ugly head. Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for sharing. Sure. It's time to go now. I'm not listening.
Right. And I think part of it is, like, I have a workaholic gremlin, right? She's there telling me that I'm not good enough all the time. Thank you. I appreciate it. And sometimes it's helpful because it drives me to get things done. And sometimes it drives me so hard that I get sick. I slept all day on Sunday. Yay me! Right? Because I wasn't listening to her. I swear, I woke up once or twice and she said, you should be working. And I said, I don't think so. But right, having an understanding of that's who she is. She's the workaholic gremlin. I could probably give her some like really evil, mean name, and I'll have to think about it. Like the Meredith tricks or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we have to think.
But like, what?
I was just saying, yeah, we have to be really creative in what we call our gremlins.
Right, because it's not me. It's just another part that's not listening. But then I got to tell her who I'm replacing her with, right? Because the world abhors a vacuum, right? The energy, and we're talking about energy. So if I've got gremlin energy, right? Creative is not in place. Fun or silly isn't in place, right? Loving isn't here, right? So then I have to say, I hear what you're saying, and right now I'm choosing to be loving and self-caring, and I'm going to, right? I chose to sleep. I'm like, body says, gotta rest, right? I'm choosing self-love over you today.
Yes.
But maybe someday I'll say, okay, I'll listen. Right?
Yeah. So that's great. So what else do they need to know? Like, so we need to know, we need to connect, we need to go back to our ways of being to
right. So that's how we create the
our business.
And it really is about understanding, right? There's, for every business we create, there are different ways to launch a business, to support a business, to have it out there. For example, so I'm a quality time girl, right? So if you're familiar with David Chapman's, is that the right name? David Chapman's Love Languages.
I love it. And I'm a word person. I'm an affirmations, like words of appreciation is my thing.
Right. So then inside your business, it would be great if you had things that are A, giving yourself words of affirmation, right? B, sharing words of affirmation with your clients, saying, hey, I know you might be struggling with the tech today, but I know you got this. You can do this. We can do it together, right? Yeah. You're courageous for taking the step. So you create that aspect of who you are inside the relationship that you're building. I'm a quality time girl, and my sessions, I'm sure they are always on time. Okay. Maybe I give a little more time than I should in the sessions I have, but because I want to spend time, I want to have the relationship. It's my highest love self is being with people. I'm a people. I'm a people. And
exactly. Actually, I'm just thinking, I'll put a link to the love languages in the comments below when we're finished. So if people have never done the love languages, I honestly recommend that you do it, and you get your partner to do it as well. Or
your teammates.
Yeah, it is
very important when you have a team. So I just got a new team member today. I just welcomed him on my team. I'm very excited. And understanding, like, so you're a words of affirmation. So if I know that you're a words or affirmation, as somebody on a team together, I want to make sure that I acknowledge and appreciate all the things that you're doing. Thank you so much for having me on here. Yay!
My pleasure.
Right? And the fact that you're creating this talk every couple weeks, you're really being a stand that you connect with your audience, that you connect with them regularly, which is part of what we're talking about, right? And I'm a quality time girl. So whenever somebody has an issue, I'm the person that easily says, hey, let's hop on the phone and let's just fix this, right? That's how I am the most me of meanness that I can be. That was almost a little Seussical, right?
So yes, Yurik said to thank you, like he was thank you for our chat. So yeah, there's a few chats, and Andrew's also talking about personal authenticity. So it's always essential when expressing yourself. So absolutely, it is, isn't it? You know,
and
when you're yourself.
That's the core about understanding your essences. When you really get to knowing who you are, and as you really step in owning them. When I really started owning the dyslexia and the ADHD and saying, hey, this is not my can of worms, I can now take writing off my plate. I don't need to force myself into the things that don't work. And so I can be authentic about it. I can own, yep, I'm dyslexic and I'm ADHD, but hey, I'm also a creative thinker and I'm outside of the box. And right, so it helps me own all of me. And then I get to that point where I'm just going to be authentic because that's what's important to me, and always speak from my heart because that's how I want people to treat me. And I don't care what you think of me. According to Anthony Hopkins, it's none of my business what you think of me. So then I should just be me. Let my true colors shine, right?
And like they say, you know, you can't be someone else because that's already taken.
Yes, exactly. I think I have that on my wall, somebody. You might as well be you. Everybody else is taken.
Exactly. I love it. I love it. You know, and actually I've got a ring here that my daughter gave me, which is actually about Dr. Seuss, and it's actually saying there's no one newer than you, you know. So, you know, that saying by Dr. Seuss about being you. So, yeah, so that's quite amazing too. Like, yeah, so.
Yeah, it really is. I mean,
it is.
More than anything, your business thrives when you own all of who you are.
Yeah.
It's about owning every aspect, and you know, you may not have to love every bit of it, right? Sometimes I get frustrated with the dyslexia. Sometimes I get frustrated with the fact that I don't always stay on track. But as I start to own all of who I am, the more confident I get. And the more I have people who are attracted to me, because I'm not pretending. I'm not pretending that I'm not dyslexic. I'm not pretending that I'm not any of these other things. And the minute you remove the pretense, right, it up levels your authenticity. It makes you more attractive, you know, heart to heart, soul to soul, being to being.
Absolutely. And you just mentioned something, Ben, which is interesting, is that, you know, people are attracted to you because of who you are. So really, I know something that as business people, we all should remember is that there is no competition. So two people can be doing exactly the same thing and standing side by side, like say in a booth or whatever, you know, at a fair, and people will be attracted to each one, to either one, based upon their energy and their way of being. Like it's people are attracted to you for who you are, you know.
Right. And it's because I have a different lens, right? Not just the who I am and how I show up in the world, which is definitely a big key to it, right?
Yeah.
Two business coaches standing next to each other and somebody's going to choose me over somebody else because of something inside that energy.
Yes.
And even if we teach the same content, it's the lens in which we teach it through, or the filter, right? Those rose-colored glasses versus rainbow. I like rainbows, rainbow-colored glasses, right? You know, having all of that, our experiences, all of that makes us unique. All of that makes us individual. And that's where we let those true colors shine. That's where we can express our values, right? Why is my value about quality time? Why is it this thing about love as a form of sales, right? Like, it's such a different flavor on when it comes from me, even if you and I believe the same thing, right? There's so many places where you and I have similar beliefs.
Absolutely.
Which is what makes us great collaborative partners. It's why we can, you know, play in the same game together and have fun and express ourselves, right? It's why we get to do these things, because we have such an energy alignment, right? And that's how we know. And then when you come across somebody that you're like, oh yeah, that's not,
that's not.
The people that turn you off, or the people that you're like, oh, you don't belong in my field anymore, right? I just gotta send you off. Not personal. It's just we don't match, right?
So no, so thank you so much, Meredith. It's been amazing having you here today. I just want to say, so thank you. So
thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. So we'll pop your details in the link below so people can contact you, and you've got a free gift for them. So if they want to download
yeah, you can really dig deep. It's about, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours worth of content. They're in like 30-minute chunks if you want to take a little time. It's video, because I like video. Yay. And there's slides and worksheets and all kinds of stuff. And so it was a challenge, and now it's a 5-part video training. So yay.
And it was amazing too. I actually came on to all of those. So that was really good. It was really good. So I look forward to, so thank you, Kerry. Thank you to everybody who's live with us now. So thank you so much. It's been awesome. And thank you for all your comments. And it's,
I look forward to reading all of your true colors and everything that you shared in the comments. And, you know, thank you for being here and for being somebody who's up for growing and taking your business to the next level and letting your true color shine. It's a courageous place to be. It's a powerful stand. And I hope that you join us in living and leading a legacy of love. Because when we come from our hearts together authentically, that's when we make the world a better place. And that's what we're all up to together. So
absolutely. So thank you everybody for coming, and we wish you like the best day. Have the most amazing and abundant day. And we look forward to talking to you again sometime in the future. So, bye. Yay.